Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to another review/double giveaway. Two of you lucky punters are going to be on the receiving end of two brand new Stratons. They've just launched this new model pairing the Sportiva chronograph and the Volante three-hander. Kyle is the brand owner and a name I'm sure you're familiar with by now. He also owns Signum watches, whose titanium CUDA loom is so good it pretty much killed off the Loom Wars series. Kyle sent me a number of these new Stratons for review and has kindly allowed me to give two of them away to two of you. Now, you saw the pop-up. Giveaway equals sponsored video, and indeed this video is sponsored by Kyle and by Straton. Now, he always makes me work hard and today is no exception. He's launched two new watches in two different case sizes, 7 different colours, 3 different bracelet and strap options. That gives a total of 84 possible purchasing permutations. So strap yourselves in. Thankfully, he only sent me 6 of them, and the two winners get to pick their favourite combo, model, size, colour, etc. from the available selection. Now, giveaways sadly also equal scammers these days. I'll give you the full scammer alert later in the video, but if someone asks you to telegram them and then asks you for $100 for delivery, that's not me, it's a scammer. Don't get scammed. Now, these watches are on launch special pricing until the end of this month, that being September 2022. I'll make sure I select the winners nice and early, so if you aren't fortunate enough to win one, you can still pick one up before the price goes up. But are they worth spending your hard-earned cash on? Are they even worth getting for nothing? i.e., are they any good? Let's flip the camera and find out. Alright, let's start with a brief, and I do mean brief, look at the Straton website. We would quite literally be here all day if we wanted to look at all 84 different combinations. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, and here's one handy graphic that certainly takes care of several hundred. The Sportiva on the left is the chronograph in 2 different sizes, 38 and 41.5. Volante on the right is the three-hander, also in 38 and 41.5. But I would urge you not to make too many snap judgments about the size quite yet. This is almost a tonneau case and they always wear larger than the dimensions suggest. Anyway, you can see them on my wrist later on and you can judge for yourself. There are 7 different colour versions of each of the 4 watches as mentioned, plus you can opt for leather strap, stainless steel bracelet, or an option for both. Now, prices on the chronograph are from $350 on the leather to $390 with roll ball bracelet and leather. That's regardless of the size or colour chosen. The autos add $100, so that is therefore $450 on the leather, $490 if you get the stainless and the leather. All these prices are $150 lower than the RRP, which kicks in as of the 1st of October, by the way. The packaging is the same for all of them. This brown Straton travel pouch with room for one watch plus a spare strap if you do go in that direction. So what are the basics then? Well, the chronographs are all powered by the same movement, that being a Seiko VK64 Mecha Quartz. That means no ticking second hand, but we do have the date at 6. All watches have 100 meters of water resistance. The 38 is oddly enough 38 millimeters in diameter, 12 millimeters thick, has a lug-to-lug of 44, 20 millimeter lug width, and sized up for me in my 7-inch wrist on the bracelet, it weighs in at 142 grams. The three-handed Volante is powered by a Sellita SW200 and has almost identical dimensions apart from being a tiny bit thicker at 12.3 and a tiny bit heavier at 154 grams. Now, they only sent me the chronograph version of the larger 41.5, which I measure at 41.3, the same 12mm thickness as its little brother, a lug-to-lug of 48, lug width this time is 22mm, and a weight of 154 grams. Extrapolating, I'm guessing that the larger auto has a weight of 168 grams or thereabouts. All watches have flat sapphire crystals with anti-reflective undercoating. The sapphire is really nicely beveled at the edges and looks good in that unusual case shape. This is my first encounter with a roll ball bracelet and I must admit I actually quite like it. I don't think I'd like it on a Seiko SKX, but it's thoroughly appropriate for this style of watch. They are big, long, solid links held together by big, long screws. The brush finish looks good on the upper surfaces and there are plenty of holes of micro adjustment available to offset those big, long links. The clasp has a fold over, double security pushers, pressed upper, milled lower. The fold over is etched with the Straton brand name. Now the case back is kind of the same on all of these watches. Screw on stainless steel, and on the Mecha Quartz ones it's closed and features quite a fine etching of an arm grabbing a vintage steering wheel. On the automatics it looks like the same case back, but they've punched a hole in the middle of it so you can have a look at that Sellita 200. It's a piece of sapphire crystal on the back as well. Let's have a look at some of these colours then. The two designs are essentially the same, except the chronograph obviously has two subdials at the 3 and the 9, and a larger and more legible frame date complication that completely deletes the index at 6. I really like this brown and off-white, but then again I do have a brown and off-white Straton in my collection already and was wearing it in the intro. There's quite a bit of depth to the dials, and you can see those long indices extending over the inner recessed circle when I move the watch around at an angle. I think that outer chapter ring looks great. It reminds me of one of those 60s 70s sunburst wall clocks. I'm sure that's not a coincidence. The metallic centre section of the dial has a deliberately fairly rough horizontal brush, and as always branding is kept to a minimum, just a Straton S under the double baton at 12, the model name in a very 70s font above the date. And slim hands on all models, not much wider than the indices, segmented and loomed as you'll see soon enough. Clearly the very Gulf blue and orange and the very Joker green and purple are the two most out there colours. You can get the green and purple in a stainless steel case or a black DLC case, but the blue and orange only comes in black DLC. There are obviously a couple of slightly more sensible colours, including blue and white and plain blue, if you are feeling slightly more sensible, that is. A quick look at the loom then. This is one area that I always felt was a bit of an Achilles heel for Straton previously, but I think Kyle has learned from his Signum experience and added a number more layers. So a decent level of water resistance and all-night loom do add a little bit of versatility to all of these watches. On wrist, starting with the smaller model. Now I did say that the case shape wears large, and I think that the 38 wears for all the world like a 40 equivalent. I know it sounds kind of minor when I say it out loud, but you all know what I mean, I'm sure. And the roll ball wears better than I thought it would. Those first links are enormous, but they are fully articulated and curved, so it fits me really nicely. Now I prefer a slightly smaller watch anyway, so I would definitely be going for the smaller version of this one for my 7-inch wrist, but I'll do me, you do you. Oddly enough, the three-hander wears identically to the chronograph. The movement does add an extra 10 grams or so, but I couldn't really feel it on wrist. The leather strap is a standard issue Straton Rally affair in this kind of tan brown colour. Very comfortable straight out the box, embossed, nice brushed hardware with the Straton logo etched into it. I've been wearing one with no problem at all on my Straton Special for several years now. It really does look the part. The big watch is noticeably bigger, however, not unwieldy or unwearable even with that longer lug to lug, but it's probably on the upper limits for me, and you can begin to see the tops of those bracelet links, which is a sign that you're stretching the capacity of your wrist just a little bit too far, I always feel. It doesn't look ridiculous from the pocket shot by any means, but just be aware it probably wears closer to a 43 or a 44 than it does to a 41. Moans and niggles, well, more like a couple of minor gripes really, all of which could be fixed quite easily. The fold over on the bracelet clasp is sharp. Now I've got short nails, and every time I take one of these on or off, that digs right into my fingers. Not exactly a luxurious tactile experience there then. And all of the spring bars seem to be a bit too small for the bracelet. They're the right width, they all just seem to be a bit skinny, which leads to unnecessary rattling at both ends of the clasp and at the lugs. And while I'm moaning about spring bars, the bracelet is quick release, but the straps aren't. It's a bit of an oversight, I think, offering quick release on one but not on the other, especially if people are being encouraged to buy both by offering a deal. And then there's the looks overall. It's a fine line between retro and kitsch, and that line will be in a different place for everyone, I'm sure. This design in certain colourways is going to be too much for some. Personally, I think these look fantastic. Especially the brown and the gold, and especially the chronograph. I think the whole design really works better with the addition of those two registers. But then again, I'm into the whole 70s look with my watches, and I have a large collection of t-shirts, many of which are purple, green and orange, as you saw earlier on. And in terms of value for money, clearly these look a lot better at the current discounted price than they will look come the 1st of October when the price goes up. $150 is a hell of a saving, or a hell of a price hike depending on which way you look at it. But 2 of you lucky blighters won't even be paying $150 for one of these, you'll be getting them for nothing, compliments of Straton. So there you have it. What do you have to do to win one? Well, first you have to find a medium-sized table, then stand on top of it, close your eyes and jump on one leg. No, I'm only kidding. It's the usual email sign up, but first, if you haven't already done so, please give this video a like, and if you're not already a subscriber of the channel, hit the big button that says subscribe on it. I will of course leave a link to Straton's website in the description of the video. If you scroll down to the bottom of any page, there's a box where you can enter your email to sign up for the Straton newsletter. That is also a condition of entry today. Once you've done all that, leave a comment on this video, any comment you like. I'll come back to this video on Saturday the 24th and I will pin one comment letting that person know that they have won the first watch and to contact me by email, not by telegram. Once I've arranged things with the first winner, I will choose and pin a second comment at random, and that winner can pick from whatever is left over. Don't worry, there'll still be plenty. I say it again, if you get a comment that doesn't look quite right, doesn't feel quite right, and ask you to telegram or WhatsApp them, which leads to a conversation that doesn't feel quite right either and ends up with someone asking you for money, that's not me. I will never ask you for a penny. So don't get scammed. Thank you again to Kyle for sponsoring this video and for giving away the watches. And don't forget, if you are not one of the lucky winners, the launch special pricing only applies until the end of September. If you like Straton's super 70s vibe, why not check out a couple of previous videos on the daily driver and the competition driver. Thanks for watching this one. Good luck with the giveaway. I'll see you again in a future video.